Welcome, Sojourners. This is Jonathan with Sojourners Awake. I hope you've been enjoying the episodes of our adventurers on Sunday evening as they descend into Avernus. Or is it Avernus? I guess it depends on what part of the plains you are from. This next little episode is a conversation between Hay, the human warlock of the Archfey, and his patron, the Lady of Air and Darkness. You can find the stats for this creature in Monsters of Feywild from Kwood Publishing. It's a wonderful 5e D&D supplement full of monsters of the Feywild. And if you've ever wanted to explore the Feywild or understand what it's like, this book really gives you an idea of the pictures to paint, the imagery to use, and the stories that you can tell as a dungeon master or a player from the Feywild. Anyway, I hope you will enjoy this conversation. I will be releasing the rest of this episode and piecing it all together, but this is just a small segment to give you a taste of how wonderful it is to play Dungeons & Dragons with your friends and family around the table. And so for now, our story continues. We see a scene of white. Snow and frost bathe the countryside. There are two figures walking along a lane as frozen evergreen trees hang underneath them, every once in a while dropping an icicle splashing to the ground, barely making a sound. We see the haunting of white beasts, snowy owls and snowy wolves, crouching, watching and waiting, as a feminine, regal presence glides through the ice. Her features are dark and graceful, mysterious. As she glides upon the ice, it's as if she's floating. And the nondescript human standing next to her struggles to keep up with her stately stride. In turn, the two begin to talk. You're doing very well, Hay. It is so good to have you here in my kingdom. You have spent so much time away. I miss you.
I miss you too, lady.
But why do you spend so much time away from here? What is so important?
My friends. I like to be with my friends, and they do all sorts of good things. It's good to be around them.
The mention of friends, she stops, holds out an icy clawed hand on your shoulder. You can begin to feel your blood chill.
What friends?
I am your friend, Hay. Don't you love me? Don't you care for me? She turns away in dismay. You don't love me. You never did. You only use me for my power.
That's not true.
Unconvinced, she stares off in the distance.
They're just so different from you.
Of course they are. These mortal beings. No one has the power, and no one has a love for you that I have had. Hey, do they really know how special you are? Do they sometimes ask you questions? Whether it be that daring rogue named Felix, or Bramble placating to your simple desires, or Felthran bossing you around? What about Garindan? Don't you think he's connived against you somehow?
I don't. They're all very kind to me, and they treat me like no one else ever has.
Like no one else ever has? She looks at you with icy stares. The frost begins to fill up around her face,
and you feel the shadows of the forest begin to creep as her anger rises from the woods.
I'm sorry. He wrings his hands in front of himself and he looks down at the ground. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
She laughs. Oh, hey, come here. And she brings you in an icy embrace, holding you close. This regal woman, standing nearly 12 feet tall, acts as a giantess, and then her form diminishes to a simple mother, meeting your eye level. And as she holds you in a motherly embrace, she says, I forgive you. You are sometimes say things that you don't mean, right?
He doesn't really speak. He's not even really returning the hug, but he does kind of nod mutely.
I will allow you to make it up to me. Would you like to go back to them and play with your little friends? Leave your poor mother at home?
I would.
I thought you might. Very well, if you must go. I hear you are learning all kinds of things about the demons and devils, and I'm sure you don't know the difference, but I do want you to remember one thing. Your poor mother had a friend. He was a handsome elf. Wonderful man. His name was Cecilio. Well, he went to go fight in the Blood War with Zariel, the celestial being. Oh yes, I know. She was an angel. That's different than a devil, okay, hey? But you see, with all his bravery, he was betrayed. He was sold to the demons, sold to the devils, cast around, and once he ended up in the infernal courts of Zariel, he became a sort of a puppet plaything. They tortured him so, making into and then she begins to feign these tears of ice, and the animals of the forest begin to creep around, catching her tears as they fall to the ground, holding them and storing them in bottles and whisking away, snickering and laughing. The fairies begin to build up around her, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief.
I got one. There, don't cry.
Casting glances at you.
Why do you make her cry?
Then she says, they turned him into a vampire. He's an undead. And he's rotting away in some prison in Avernus, for all I know. But here's what I want you to do, hey? A smile creeps upon her lips. I want you to make them pay. You have my powers. Show me what you can do.
Right now?
Yes, right now, of course. Show me. Exercise.
Okay. He mutters something and feels the weave wrap around him. And as power surges from toes to top, he feels the world shift, and he slips into a grayscale version of everything and walks unhindered by any physical objects in a straight line, walking through animals, through trees, through bushes, not disturbing any of the snow on anything, and then comes back into the color world. He gives a quick shake of his head as if to clear it, and turns around and looks at her with a set look on his face.
She scoffs. You did not disturb a single thing. How will you go through Avernus and not make a scene? No, hey, I want you to make a scene. I want you to make them hurt in my name for your poor lady who suffers on a daily basis at the loss of her lover. Be an extension of my wrath. Show me what you can do. Show me the power that I've given you.
He tosses something in her direction. It is an ember. Somehow he has kept a warm ember, and he tosses it at her. And I don't know if you want to do a saving throw or if this is just something. But basically, a pool of flame erupts around her feet and begins to try and suck her in to something else, to another place.
She begins to sense the draw to another plane of existence. She cackles and laughs as the fire licks up around her, and she swirls and begins to dance and stomp on the flame and dance around it and then giggle and laugh and get behind you, and her two baleful white eyes peering over your shoulder. She claps in glee and says, yes, this is fun. This is much better.
And then with another deft maneuver of his wrist, he casts Blight on her, trying to wither her away. And now he's getting into it, he's feeling the flow of it, and so he yells as he shouts. He yells as he does this, hoping to see something register on her face, some kind of emotion.
From behind your shoulder, she begins to feel the blight creep up her body on her shoulder, and her hand just falls apart into ash. She laughs and says, "Ha ha ha, my arm!" She whirls into a whirlwind of snow and ice and then assumes her regal form, 12 foot tall once again. Her crowned horn is piercing the trees above you. The snow falls to the ground, and she opens up her hand and reveals a portal where you can see your familiar friends in a drow cave negotiating. She says, "Now there they are, hey. I will allow you to go to them. Create as much chaos for your lady as much as possible. Please."
I'm already feeling tired. Can you possibly grant me...
I suppose I could. Come, give me a hug, and I'll give you all the spell slots back.
He runs to her and
There.
buries his head in her.
Yes, I know. Don't stay away too long, hey? Have fun with your friends, okay?
Why do you make her cry?
What friends?